Hi and welcome to the channel. In today's modern world, our ability to perform at optimum levels is impeded by open office settings and continuous bombardments of emails, social media distractions, and web surfing. In fact, a 2012 study showed that the average worker spends more than 60% of their work week engaged in electronic communication and internet searching. This leads to time wastage on menial tasks which don't bring much value. Hence, let's discuss some key strategies from deep work by Cal Newport. Deep work is defined as professional activities performed in a state of distraction-free concentration to push your cognitive abilities to their limits. This in turn creates new value while improving your skills and can be hard to replicate. In short, it is work that you do at peak focus with no distractions whatsoever. Shallow work, in contrast, are what we commonly refer to as business tasks, checking emails, scheduling meetings that perhaps don't create much value but are often fitted into one's day. Cal Newport suggests that in order to attain high-level results, we must have strategies to engage in a state of deep work consistently. So let's explore 4 strategies from this book that are easy to apply. 1. The most critical. Set up a deep work schedule. This is where you set aside time slot in your day to carry out periods of high focus, priority work. The length of time for deep work may vary based on your previous habits, but always start small. For example, 20 minutes of deep work followed by 5 minutes of shallow work, and alternate this for about 3 rounds. And during the times of deep work, concentrate and don't waver to check your emails or surf the net. Instead, focus at the task at hand. You can use a timer to beep once the time is up. This can be a very challenging period if your mind is already used to being very reactive to external stimulation. But stay centered, and with time you will build the endurance to have such deep focus. Then, as your stamina increases, the length of time for deep work can be adjusted and increased. In addition, schedule to have your deep work time in an ideal location, a quiet room or a library. This is so important, particularly to those in open office spaces where distractions are aplenty. Turn off pop-up messages and disengage from the internet if it is not required for the task at hand. Lastly, prepare an action plan for the specific task that you wish to complete during deep work. However, this action plan must be prepared prior to the deep work session, and this might be done the day before. This will ensure that you engage in the critical time slot of deep work doing the work that's required, instead of wasting crucial minutes planning. Number 2, reduce social media exposure. We live in such a connected world, so as harsh as this sounds, for every social media account that you have, always ask, what value does this bring to me? In fact, you could even try going on a social media sabbatical. Try it for maybe 5 days. Just don't check any accounts and see how it impacts your life. If any of the platforms are crucial to you, you may keep it after that 5-day period, while you may choose to completely disengage from those which are not particularly relevant. 3 is to reduce shallow work. Now, we know that shallow work is unfortunately part and parcel of most workplaces. And let's use the most common example, and that is to respond to emails, the greatest drain of work time. In order to reduce the number of back and forth emails, respond by using what's known as a process-centric response. Let's give you an example. Let's say you've just received an email from a colleague regarding an article draft. As a reply, you may say, "I'm going to read and send back the edited version by Monday, 8th of May. I will include all my edits, so feel free to adjust as you see fit. At that point, you should have a complete final draft. There is no need to reply to this message and follow up with me after I return the edits, unless, of course, there's an issue." Essentially, the reply provides the reader with sufficient information and confidence to proceed with the project without the need to double check with you. Also, a more cutthroat approach is to only reply to emails that are clear and not spam-like. For example, when I was teaching in university, I would get numerous invites to join journal editorial boards or journal submissions. Instead of replying to them, I started to ignore them and deleted such messages. Hence, I started to receive less emails and hence less distractions. Number 4 is super critical, and that is that downtime is key. Deep work requires immense focus and concentration. Ultimately, even the best thinkers who engage in deep focus generally hit a point where their productivity hits a wall. Now, downtime is a little different from short breaks. Downtime that we are referring to is the end of work, full stop time. This is when you completely shut down and engage in hobbies, leisure, socializing, or family time. So at the end of the day, have a shutdown ritual, which may last for about 10 to 15 minutes. This is when you perform a final email check and complete the action plan for the following day. Once these tasks are complete, that's it. No more work. Do not interrupt your downtime later in the evening with checking more emails, discussing a project with a colleague, or catching up on an approaching deadline. Because if you do this, you will rob your high concentration centers of the brain of the uninterrupted rest that they actually need to perform for the next day. Broadly, this book provides some really great insights into how to be more productive at work. However, some of the strategies are just as applicable to any facet of your life. It might be an art project, or maybe as a school student who wants to have a good studying routine. Ultimately, deep work doesn't come easy. It takes practice to master this skill. But once it becomes a habit, the combination of deep work and elimination of superfluous tasks will not only increase the productivity, but also, crucially, buy back your time to enjoy the other things in life.